What do you think about this Kanye West and his White Lives Matter?
It was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. I know he did it for attention, but I take issue with Kanye using such an emotionally charged, political, and sensitive issue and serious issue as police genocide to try to get some more attention for himself. I thought that was wrong. I thought it was thirsty. And I thought that was conduct unbecoming of a black man. And then to unite with Candace Owens into it just made the insult all the more worse because we know what type of coon she is. But it's backfiring on Kanye. A lot of people are burning his sneakers. You have people who are saying they're not buying no more of his sneakers, no more of his music. I think he's going to regret having done that because that was not the campaign that you should have targeted to try to exploit for some attention. He chose the wrong campaign. Something else, he might have got away with it. But you're talking about the murder, the senseless, unjustified murder of innocent black people by white police. No way in hell do you put on a White Lives Matter shirt because everybody understands that the purpose of the White Lives Matter shirt is to distract away from the reason we wear Black Lives Matter shirts. And that is the fact that black lives do not matter in this country as much as white lives. Why do you need to wear a White Lives Matter shirt? Everybody knows white lives matter. In fact, it's the only thing that has ever mattered in America. So why do you need to wear that on a shirt? That was an insult, and it was an attempt to make a mockery of the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about the grassroots Black Lives Matters movement that we are all a part of. I thought that was bad taste from Brother Kanye. Very bad taste.
Well, some people were saying that he was doing it as a capitalistic move. You know, as a capitalist, he knew that it would attract attention. And as you mentioned earlier, and I agree, you know, some people have a fit for a minute, but then they'll go right back to buy those Yeezys.
That's true. That's true. Because we are not serious about liberation. We are not. We are not serious about liberation, but we are always honoring some ancestor or historical event that exemplifies the tradition of revolutionary struggle in the black community. Take Emmett Till, for example, Bobby David. We had an Emmett Till miniseries. We now have another Emmett Till movie that's about to come out. But the woman responsible for Emmett Till's murder is still alive, living her best life in her old age, ain't been convicted, ain't been brought back to court, but yet we're talking about how bad this was, but I don't see the Congressional Black Caucus doing anything to bring her to justice. I don't see the NAACP or the Urban League doing anything to bring her to justice. I don't even see these Hollywood movie houses that are about to make several $1 million or probably even billion off this upcoming Emmett Till movie that I think comes out next week. They're not even trying to do anything to bring this woman to justice. We have allowed the world to take the respect and the sacredness out of black history and black struggle by us not continuing to hold it up to the level of respect that it deserves by showing in our own everyday actions that it means something to us. We have stripped our history and our liberation struggle. We have stripped the respect and the spiritual power and the honor that it once had. Most of this stuff is empty. It doesn't have any energy, no power, and no ashe in it. That goes for Kwanzaa, that goes for Black History Month, that goes for Black Wall Street, that goes for Emmett Till. We have stripped it of its honor because we do not honor it and we do not keep the legacy going.
Yeah, I could see if they at least put her on trial, convicted her, and maybe put her on probation or house arrest or something, but at least some type of justice. But just to say we're not going to indict her, that's a real slap in the face to black people, because I thought that murder had no term limits. You know, like if it's murder or rape, you know, you don't have no what do they call that amount of time before you could try somebody. Anyhow, I think that they should have done something to that woman, because otherwise it's just an insult. But, you know, in the music industry, I don't know if you've seen the latest beef between Mace and Sean Combs, but, you know, some of the things that's trending, and I'm not saying that, but some of the things that's trending is that there's a lot of homosexuality going on in the music industry, and you got to participate in order to escalate.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't participate, you don't escalate. Absolutely. That's with the movies and the music. That is Hollywood. That is American entertainment. It is demonic. Okay, it strips you of your soul. You have to give up your soul in order to get rich. And that's why we see so many wealthy brothers and sisters lose their mind or be on the verge of losing their mind, because they realize that their soul was too high a price to pay for fame. Mm-hmm. But too often, they don't learn that until it's too late. Mm-hmm. That is what I would say to Puffy. It's the same thing I would say to Jay-Z. Jay-Z, Dame Dash was your brother at one point. I understand y'all not friends no more. Give that man some money so he can move on with his life. You owe him that. He did help you. Mm-hmm. You're not friends now, but he did help you once upon a time. Mm-hmm. Give him some money and part ways, you know, where there's no animosity. Same thing I say to Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy, you damn near a billionaire, if not a billionaire. Mace ain't nowhere near that. Give that man a couple $1 million and let him go on with his life. My problem with these rich blacks and their ego, if you know you did this person wrong, and you did, you know what I mean, go ahead and give him be the bigger man because you can afford it. Mm-hmm. Be the bigger man because you can afford it. Give him a couple dollars, send him on his life, make him sign a non-disclosure agreement, Baba David. You know, Jay-Z give it to Dame Dad. Dame, sign this non-disclosure. I'm going to give you $25 million. I don't want to hear your mouth no more. Mm-hmm. Puff Daddy the base, pick up $15 million, mm-hmm. sign this non-disclosure. I don't want to hear my name come out your mouth no more, and just end it like that. Mm-hmm. But because of the ego, they don't want to sit down with their brother and come to a peaceable conclusion.
Wow. One of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about is the state of democracy here in America. I mean, you have half of the countries in the world have a democracy, then some of them have autocracies, some of them have dictatorships, but only half have a democracy. And it's like the democracy here in America is flailing. It's like disintegrating. What do you say about the democracy here in America?
It's not a democracy. America is not a democracy. The word democracy is not in the U.S. Constitution. Mm-hmm. The word democracy is not in the preamble to the Constitution. Mm-hmm. The word democracy is not included in any one of the 50 state constitutions. America is not a democracy. America is a republic. It is not the rule of the majority. It is the rule of those in power over the majority. That's all it has been. In fact, Baba David, one time I visited the National Constitution Center down at 5th and Arch, mm-hmm. down the street from the African American Museum and right across the grass from Independence Mall, so-called mm-hmm. Independence Mall, where they used to hang black people from mm-hmm. running away from slavery, okay, and the President's House and the Liberty Bell. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember the exact quote. I can't remember it, but there was a quote in Founders Hall. So they have these replica statues, life-size replica statues of all the signers of the Declaration of Independence in there. And there was one quote, and I cannot remember that quote. I'm going to need to go back and get it. But it basically spoke to how they used democracy as a distraction and a manipulation to hide the fact that America is really an oligarchy and an aristocracy, not a democracy. Mm-hmm. And people might ask the question, well, why keep up the propaganda of democracy? To prevent rebellion. That's why you do that. America knows that if the people in this country, the white people mainly, because black folks are scared of white folks, America knows that the white folks in this country, if they ever lose their hypnosis in believing that this country is a democracy, they would overthrow the government. They would not hesitate to overthrow the government. America is as much a dictatorship as any country in the world. It is as much a dictatorship, but the illusion of inclusion in the political process is what keeps everybody hypnotized to believing they actually have a say over what happens in this country.
Well, what do you think would happen if, let's say, the mega world took over, gained a lot of seats in office, what do you think would happen to the social order here in America?
If who gained those seats?
The mega movement, Donald Trump and his mega movement, Make America Great movement.
Well, see, here's the thing. It don't matter if it's Trump or Biden. It don't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican. It don't matter if the president is black or white. The ruling aristocracy of America, the few who control the institutions and own the bulk of the land and the businesses in this country, they dictate what's going to happen. The only thing Americans exercise control over at the ballot booth is the personality of the person who's going to carry out the agenda. It's just like if you go to work, right, and they say, hey, you got 3 supervisors you can choose. Who do you want to be your supervisor? They all have their own personalities, likes and dislikes, but guess what? No matter who you choose, they're still carrying out the agenda of the board of directors for that corporation. So you're not choosing the agenda. You're only choosing the personality that will carry out the agenda, and that is American